So as soon as I saw this story, I knew I had to share it with you guys. So this is wild. A former head of Louisiana State Police won a North Louisiana race for sheriff by literally just one vote. One vote decided the election. One. So you can see the numbers here on screen. Henry Whitehorn got 21,621 votes. John Nicholson got 21,620 votes. One vote. Now, look, of course, this is going to trigger an automatic recount, and we'll see what happens. Honestly, you could literally flip a coin when it comes to what direction will this recount go, because almost any time I've seen a recount, there actually is, it never comes back with like, yes, the numbers we initially reported are actually 100% accurate. Usually the numbers do change, sometimes hundreds of votes, sometimes anywhere up to like 3,000 votes, right? So they could theoretically do the recount, and then John Nicholson wins by like 2,412 votes. So like the recount, everything's going to hinge on the recount, but the fact that at least under this first count, it came down to literally one vote. I've never seen anything like this before in my life, ever. So I'm curious. You guys tell me, can you remember an election, a different election that was won by one vote? Because I couldn't. I brought up to Crystal, I think she remembered one other one that was won by one vote. I can't think of any others. The closest one that popped to mind for me was this one. The 2008 U.S. Senate election in Minnesota, where it was Al Franken versus Norm Coleman. And I think Norm Coleman was the incumbent Republican. And here, you can see the numbers here. So you have the percentage of the vote. Al Franken got 41.99%, and Norm Coleman got 41.98%. And then you had somebody in the Independence Party who got 15.15% of the vote. But the vote, it was like a little over 300 votes decided the election. And I remember when this happened, we were all like, holy cow, that's like the closest election I've ever seen. But now, as I said, this one, at least as of right now, one vote victory. Wow. So look, I say that to point out, like, of course, no matter how much you might think your vote doesn't count, it actually kind of does. I mean, it certainly counts less if you're in a safe state and it's a presidential election, right? But, I mean, it still counts. It still counts. And this just goes to show you, it is, not only is it theoretically possible for an election to be decided by one vote, it actually is like realistically possible. It's possible in real life. It's not just theoretical. So here, I'll read you some more about this one real quick. Former head of Louisiana State Police won a North Louisiana race for sheriff by just one vote Saturday, unofficial election results show. Henry Whitehorn, who was superintendent of Louisiana State Police from 2004 to 2007, is set to become Cato Parish's first new sheriff in 24 years. Because of the narrow margin of victory, a recount will be held next week. Whitehorn faced former Shreveport City Council member John Nicholson in Saturday's runoff election. Then they go on to say, won by one vote. The current sheriff, Steve Prater, did not seek re-election. His term expires in June 2024. Prater endorsed Nicholson in the runoff election. After heading Louisiana State Police, Whitehorn went on to serve as Shreveport Police Chief and later as a U.S. Marshal. One vote. That's wild, man. And I guess the final point I'll make is, this also kind of reminded me of just how important ranked choice voting is, because that's a way to guarantee your vote matters more. Right? With this first past the post voting system that we have, everybody's sort of forced to go for one of the two major parties, certainly in presidential elections. But if you had ranked choice voting, you literally rank in order who your favorite candidates are. Right? So if you are a lefty and you're voting in this particular presidential election upcoming, you could go, my first choice is Cornel West. If he doesn't win, my second choice would be Jill Stein. She doesn't win, my third choice would be Joe Biden. Joe Biden doesn't win, my fourth choice would be RFK. If he doesn't win, then my last choice would be Trump, or you could just put however many you want. You don't have to like literally rank all of them, but you could say these are my top two or top three. And that would totally get rid of this idea of the spoiler effect, which is why a lot of people don't want to cast a vote for an independent candidate or a Green Party candidate, because they feel like I'm throwing away my vote and I'm helping the party I don't want to win. So you get rid of any argument for the spoiler effect if you have ranked choice voting. And reading this story reminded me, that's a way, like, your vote really matters, but that's a way to make it matter even more. And then I think you would start to have viable independent candidates or third-party candidates if we had ranked choice voting. And I'm 100% in favor of ranked choice voting. I mean, I really think we desperately, desperately need it. But yeah, there you go. Election decided by one vote. Maybe, it might just be the first and last time we ever see that in our lifetimes. It could be. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.